Hello and welcome to One Cool Thing, PC Mag's daily show on Facebook where we show you one cool thing, which we are testing out in the PC Mag Labs. I'm Sasha Sieg and this is Joel Santo Domingo. We have Social Pete taking your comments and questions, and we have a device that I consider to be a great technological mystery of 2017 that I would love to you folks to help us figure out, and that is the Google Pixelbook.
It is the Google Pixelbook. It is the newest Chromebook. It's the follow-up to the Chromebook Pixel that we saw a couple years ago. It's really, really thin, and this time it's convertible.
Ooh.
So you can use it in one arm as a tablet with a pen.
So let's start with the basic specs of this.
Sure.
What do we have in terms of screen, processor, ports? What's going on? Like if this was just a generic laptop, what would it be made of?
It's made out of aluminum metal. It's basically out of unibody construction. Well, it's not a unibody, sorry. It's got metal construction with panels, which are rubberized. And then
nice and grippy.
It's got some Gorilla Glass on the back. That's for the antenna. It is a 12.5-inch screen. It is 2.5 pounds. So you can carry around this with you everywhere. And you know, basic specs: 8 gigs of memory, 256 gig of SSD space, and it's got a Core i5 Y series processor. So
now, what does that mean?
The Y series is a low power processor. It's fanless, so you know there's no hot air blowing on your arm when you're using it. But it's a little less powerful than the true Core i5 for, let's say, multimedia use.
Now, are there multiple configs of this, or is it just one 8/256 config?
There is an 8/128 config at $999 with the same processor, and then there's a Core i7 16/512, which is more expensive.
Okay, what's the screen resolution?
The screen resolution is, oh my goodness, I forgot. It's way higher than 1080p.
So we're kind of Surface Book-esque.
It's Surface Book-esque.
Okay,
it's 3x2, so you can hold in your arm.
Okay, and now I see one USB-C port over here.
Yep.
Do we have another USB-C port on the other side?
We have USB-C here with the headphone jack, and you have USB-C on the other side.
Okay, so now notice for the first couple of minutes, as you folks have been coming in, we've been talking about the basic specs of the Pixelbook, and I've been dancing around what the strange thing is about this laptop, and what makes this laptop different than I think every other laptop we've had on this show for months.
For months. It's a Chromebook.
It's a Chromebook.
It's a Chromebook. It's an expensive Chromebook. It's over $1,000. It's premium. You know, it's designed for people who have a current MacBook Air, and they're thinking, okay, I don't really use all the functionality of the MacBook Air. I like the keyboard, I like the size, I like the screen. I want a higher resolution screen. This might be what you want to get.
Now, one thing I'd like to point out is that if you have kind of an old school mindset vis-a-vis Chromebooks, you think, oh, this is just a laptop, all it runs is a web browser, and that's not true anymore,
That's not true anymore at all. Now it runs Word. It runs basically all the apps that are in the Google Play Store. So
Android apps.
Android apps.
This is the Android laptop that, like, we used to see people trying to make Android laptops happen, and this is the real Android laptop.
This is the Android laptop. Basically, if you're running a relatively new app, Nougat or Oreo, it'll run in this. It'll run full screen if the app is made for full screen, like you saw Word earlier. Let me just open up an app here. There we go. But if you are running an app that is made for phones, it will run in a phone-sized window.
In a little box.
In a little box. There we go.
There we go. Crossing the road in a phone box. Let's take some questions.
Sure. For most of these Android apps, do you have to use the touchscreen, or is it actually optimized to work with the mouse and touchpad?
It will work with the mouse. It will work with the mouse and touchpad.
So one thing about Android apps that you may not know is that a lot of Android apps, even on your phone, work with a mouse and keyboard.
Correct. You can hook up a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard up to a phone
Right.
and use it like a little laptop.
I have done that on planes.
Yes.
This is not iOS. They will not force you to use one particular interaction method. Let's take another question.
Is there Photoshop?
Photoshop is available-ish. It's the Android Photoshop.
Yeah, it's Android Shop. There's a Lightroom. There's
Yes.
a Lightroom thing, right?
There's Lightroom. There's all the online Creative Cloud stuff. So if you're used to using that, it's perfectly fine. It's got Google Photos on it. You can get to them.
Is there anything in terms of a good video editor for this platform?
I'm
I've never
not
really
sure.
found a
I
good
haven't seen
video
one
editor for
either.
Android. Yeah, I feel like once you get to those sort of higher end multimedia creation apps, I haven't seen really good ones for the Android platform. And if there is one like major minus for this laptop, that's really it, isn't it?
Right. It really is the big minus for this laptop is it's beautiful. It works really well. It's fast, boots up in seconds.
The price isn't horrible for this hardware.
The price isn't horrible, but the thing is, for the same price, you can get a Yoga 920 from Lenovo, and then run Premiere on it if you need to.
Right, and then run real Photoshop on it if you need to.
Exactly.
And then run, like, one area I found Android really falls short, which super frustrates me, is I do a lot of SQL database work. And the SQL clients for Android in general are awful.
Right.
And, you know, I want full screen, multi-tabbed SQL queries, and I don't know if I can do that on here.
Right. But if you can live online, this is a great laptop.
Right.
have
Let's
a
take
question?
another question.
Did you mention storage capacity?
Storage capacity in this guy is 256. You can go up to 512, and the base unit is 128.
And so it works perfectly fine offline.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely, and it's got 256 because you want to load all those apps on.
So now, in terms of onlineitude, is this does it have built-in LTE?
It does not have built-in LTE,
Okay.
but I know you guys have seen this recently, and you're very familiar with this, Sasha. This is the Pixel 2. If you have a Pixel 2 or Pixel 2 XL, you can set up instant tethering on here. It works very much like the iPhone and a MacBook. Basically, once you sign in on both devices, it'll pop up a little dialog box asking you, would you like to use this if you're out of range of Wi-Fi? And then from that point on, it'll work.
Okay, let's take another question.
Yep.
Can it run Linux apps?
Linux apps, it is a Chromebook. So if you know how to take a Linux distro and put it on a Chromebook, you'll be able to do that.
Yeah, and so one of the secrets of the previous of the previous Pixel laptop is that it was a popular device for developers who would blow away the Chrome OS and just run command line Linux on it and use it as a dev machine.
Right, and it would have been a really fast dev machine.
Right, and this probably is
This
too.
probably is too.
Yeah, let's
another
take another
question?
question.
Can you upgrade the storage?
You cannot upgrade the storage. It's a Chromebook. It's meant to be online. You really want to use Google Drive for that.
Okay.
Or any other online drive
Now,
system.
tell me about the pen. How much does it cost? What do you use it for? What does it do?
This is the $99 Pixelbook pen, and it's available separately. It's one of the minuses. But what's really cool about this is that if you take a look, there's a little Google Assistant button, but yeah, and you can, of course, say, OK, Google, and it'll come up, which it just activated the phone. But if you,
I don't understand.
see, here you go. There's a button on the side of the pen. And what you can do with that is, if you have an image, for example, you can hold down the button, which usually is right-click on a Windows machine, draw a circle around what you're looking at, and Google
And it
Assistant
tries
will
to Google
go out and find out what it is. So here we go. We have falling water. It's got directions on Google Maps. It's got the Google entry. And then it's got other things about it. It's got you can buy a DVD. You can look up Frank Lloyd Wright. There's some Frank Lloyd Wright news down there.
I would be so curious to do, like, if I'm watching like something on Netflix,
Oh,
to just like
absolutely.
pause it and circle someone's face and see what happens.
That would be neat. You know,
Yeah.
got a piece by Da Vinci here. It'll actually bring up who it is, who the person is in the image. Leonardo da Vinci, some of the news about him,
I was gonna
and
say,
the museum that
wow,
this piece of
wow.
art sits in. So I think it's kind of cool.
Let's take another question.
Do you think it's a good computer for a programmer?
It is a good programmer machine. As we were talking about earlier, you could probably blow away the Chrome OS and install a distro.
But also, if you do, like, if you primarily do server-side programming
Absolutely.
through, through a browser or through a Telnet client, because there are SSH and Telnet clients for Android, and you're basically spending all day just in that window, plugged into your server, then yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you live in the cloud, you can bring up a Citrix client on this. You can bring up, any one number of remote clients on this and control something else on the other side of the world.
What's the battery life situation here?
Battery life is really good. It's 10.5 hours.
And that's because Chrome OS, in part, it's got to be because Chrome OS is such a low impact operating system.
It is, pretty much.
Yeah. Let's take another one.
Okay, if someone has multiple Google accounts, do they have to completely sign out of the Chromebook every time they're switching through?
No, this sucker supports multiple Google accounts. So I'm signed in with my work account and my personal account on this system right now because our work accounts are a little limited on the exact functions that I can get to, like Assistant.
And that's true about phones too.
Yes.
I feel like I think you can generally say if you can do something, if you can set something up on an Oreo phone, you can set it up on here,
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
It's it's a fully capable Android system, basically.
Let's take, do we have any more questions out there?
So is this the best Chromebook, would you say?
I would probably say I would have to caveat that. This is the best Chromebook if you can afford it. I've seen other Chromebooks that are $500 that are almost as nice as this. There we go, Sasha. Like the Asus
Making it
Chromebook.
rain!
There we go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The Chromebook Flip, for example, is a really, really nice one, and it's half the price. It also has Intel in it.
Yeah, I mean that's what it comes down to. Like the vast majority of people who are buying Chromebooks are buying Chromebooks in part because they are less expensive, because they are pretty much virus proof and easy to manage, and easy to use, but also because they are less expensive. It's a key element of Chromebooks, and so this does take that element away.
It does, but again, some people want a premium experience. This is the premium experience.
Okay, let's take another question.
What would you tell someone who's trying to decide between this and a Surface Book 2?
Surface Book 2. Surface Book 2 is a lot more powerful than this.
Surface Book 2 is $3,000 or
Yes.
something, isn't it?
Surface Book 2 is a lot more powerful than this. It's got the detachable screen. If you really are looking at a Surface Book 2, I would look at MacBook Pro as an alternate.
Yeah, but also, so I am someone who uses both the Surface Book and a significant number of Android devices, so I can speak to this personally. And the issue is, it is a question of what applications do you need to use.
Right.
For instance, I use in my daily work Photoshop CS5 and a MySQL client and a Postgres client.
Right.
And those applications are not available in good form for Android. So,
Not yet.
so I need my Windows machine.
Right.
If you're just using Word and Excel all day, first of all, why are you buying a Surface Book that's massively overpowered?
Right. This is actually overpowered for just for Word and Excel.
Right, right. But if you are a Word and Excel person,
Yes.
this works just fine.
This
right?
works just fine. The $500 Chromebook Flip works just fine. $500 Windows machine will work just fine, unless you're calculating humongous 250,000 cell spreadsheets.
Right, right. Which we once had to build a desktop under my
Yes.
desk to do. Yes. Okay. Next question.
How well does it run Android games?
It runs Android games pretty well. The Shooty Skies game that I put up runs pretty quickly. It's just as smooth as it is on the Pixel 2. I've run a couple others like Futurama. It's pretty good.
Have you tried anything high end, like kind of Vainglory, that type of stuff?
Not yet.
Okay.
no.
What's the processor in here?
The processor.
Oh, right, it's an i5.
It's an i5.
So it's the integrated Intel graphics, that's what we're
Correct.
getting to?
Yep.
And so that's significantly more powerful graphics-wise than the Snapdragon 835 that you'll find in most Android phones. So I would expect Android games to run very well on here.
Right, as long as they work. Our sister site, Computer Shopper, found a few Android games that didn't draw on the screen.
And that would be on that Intel ARM break, possibly. Okay,
Right.
let's take another question.
One last one. Will it support VirtualBox or any other virtualization software?
I'm sure if they have an Android client, probably.
Yeah.
It's really, does it run an Android client or a web client? Those run natively out of the box. Otherwise, you're probably going to have to do some hacking.
Okay, great. So, so this starts at $9.99. It's $99 extra for the pen.
This one is $11.19, and it's really nice. We gave it a 3.5 out of 4. At least 3.5 out of 5.
We gave it a 3.5 because this operating system, life's a little weird. It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
Okay, great. So that is the Google Pixelbook, and I hope we have solved the mystery of who is the Pixelbook for you. This has been one cool thing. We will be back tomorrow. Is it Friday? I never know whether it's Friday. It's Thursday? Oh, man. I was hoping it was Friday. It is not Friday. I will be here tomorrow, 10 a.m., with another one cool thing for you. Thank you very much.
Aloha.